I think there are some people that just won't find it, and I think I'm one of them. And but I do think we have a God-shaped hole in this country, which is why we're in the mess that we're in. Like, I'm an atheist, but it was comfortable to grow up as an atheist because most people weren't.
You're a contrarian, aren't you?
Probably.
Yeah, but not, I don't mean that rudely. I mean, lots of us are in some ways, but it's perhaps a healthy thing because you question dogma, you question what you're told to believe. And then when you find it lacking, you want to tell the world, right?
Yes.
And that's who Posey Parker is. But why call yourself Posey Parker?
Oh, so I joined a website called Mumsnet, and you had to have a anonymous name. And I was expecting my fourth baby, and the list of girls' names included Posey and Parker, and he was a boy. And so I just picked the first two names, and it sounded quite good. That's it. Nothing kind of remotely.
Yeah, that's
Brilliant.
a boring story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, I should have known that. But
Well, everything I've done that seems to be brilliant is kind of through necessity or accident. Like, it's not like the billboard, it wasn't like I knew that it was going to be this kind of rallying cry. I just thought I want it to be black and white. I want it to look like the sort of letters that you have at infant school when you first learn to read. And so they had to be really clear letters. And I just found this particular font, and I used this dictionary definition from Google, so I could literally copy and paste the phonetic spelling of the word woman. And that's where it came from. And I knew that adult human female sounded better than adult female human, which was in most dictionaries. So
is it still, what do they have now in the dictionary?
oh, I think
Since you did that with it.
yeah, well, they've changed it on Google now. They've
Yeah.
changed it around. So yeah. So when I say it was a Google definition, and people go, I don't think so. And but yeah, it
That was
was.
before Google got woke, then,
Yeah.
basically, yeah.
Mm.
That's really interesting. So what's next? I mean, you said there are much bigger problems ahead. I mean, you talked about, like, I can't remember what you called it,
Transhumanism.
transhumanism. I think that's for another day.
Yes, let's not go.
But I think your mission on Islam, I mean, from somebody who got threatened and nearly lost their life more than once campaigning on women's issues against the trans agenda, you might have gone for something a little bit safer or easier in life, but you've chosen to take on Islam.
It's just an extension of women's rights. You just can't ignore the threat.
But is everything for you through the women lens then? What about male Muslims? Do you want to free them too? I know they haven't got their faces, and I've got all that, and I'm with you. But do you think Islam is restrictive and negative for men?
Possibly, but I'm a woman, so I see
The
everything.
same way. I mean, I'm a man, you're a woman, but I still care about you, and I care deeply about women's issues.
Yes, but Islam impacts women in a far worse way than it impacts men.
Well, it depends which men. Non-Muslim men. I mean, Islam impacts Jews quite heavily,
Yes.
for example, and Islam impacts at its worst moments men and women in Islamic terror attacks. And on the 7th of October, Islam impacted 1,200 people of every nationality virtually, and both genders. So I'm not meaning to be difficult, but I do see that you see things through the lens of freeing women from restrictions. But isn't that in itself quite tribal by gender? Isn't that in itself quite restricted? Why not go the whole hog?
Well, because you can't solve everything. And if you don't focus on something, then you get nothing achieved whatsoever. So by virtue of freeing women, I free their children, and their children are boys. And I also free them entirely. Like, if you look at any society, and you look at the way that they treat women, that is also how they treat children and how they treat each other. So by extension of liberating a woman, then you liberate the entire society. But men often think about other men, and I do get it, because I really don't like the idea of like the whining, and there's so many issues I don't think are important. I don't care about spreading or mansplaining, or I don't care about those of those things. And I think there should be men's rights activists looking at, maybe men can look at how to free men from Islam. And maybe men can focus on things like male suicide and all those other things and I have 3 sons, you know, and a husband.
A lot of men in your life.
I have a lot of men in my life and I love them dearly, and I've always found it easier to relate to men. I probably like more men in my actual real life than I like women. I find women really quite difficult. Women are the ones that have brought about so much of the crap that I now fight. Like, it's women that do it. Women are opening the doors to men in our spaces. It's not your average kind of, it's not your average man going, well, you know, I think Dave should go in the women's. It's not them. It's the women going, I know, it's absolutely fine. It's so, why don't you come in? So I'm not under any illusion about women. I'm just a women's rights campaigner, and by extension of what I've looked at, which men weren't really that bothered about because it didn't impact them so much. It was women that were being impacted by transgenderism and are still. That's why I sort of looked at free your face and women. So I get it, but you know, I'm a woman.
Are you basically a sort of old-fashioned conservative, you know, like Mary Whitehouse or something?
I'm actually born on her birthday. So yeah.
Reincarnation.
Well, I think actually we look back and she was right.
But are you a
On a lot.
prude generally about things?
What do you mean by that?
I'm not sure. I mean, a lot of your positions are quite sort of traditional and old-fashioned, let's put it that way. And, you know, the image you put out is a sort of old school Marilyn Monroe style kind of, it's glam, but conservative, you're not conservatively dressed, but you're not in it.
I haven't got a
the
plunging
right word.
neckline.
Yeah, you don't,
Yeah.
you know, you don't flaunt sexuality. You seem to have a sense of traditional values. You kind of want to be a believer. You wear a cross, but you're not really identifying yourself as a religious Christian. These are quite traditional, old school things. I mean, I could imagine you in a pearl necklace and a, you know, a slightly quieter color. Am I wrong? Is that part of what's behind all this?
Yes, probably. I think everyone should have the freedom to do whatever they want in their own homes. And I think when you come out onto the street, you have a deal with the rest of us that you're going to behave in a particular way.
What's the particular way though? Is it the majorities or the traditional way, or what is that particular
Well,
way?
I think it's like we could put it in an analogy of speaking. So I think you should have the freedom to say what you like, but that doesn't mean you get to sit next to me and shout in my ear, right? Like, we all accept if we're on a train, we don't want to hear someone's music, but we don't mind them listening to music. I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your loud conversation. I think we all get along if we're all a little bit quieter about everything to do with ourselves.
Yeah, it reminds me actually of something Yasmin Mohammed again said to me. She said she read all these stories about how in Britain there were people saying at work, I'm fasting for Ramadan, I don't want to see your sandwich, even though you're not Muslim. Isn't that the same thing?
Is it the same? No. No, that's not the same thing, is it? Because that's a minority. That's a minority view.
So it's about the
Opposing
majority.
it. Yeah.
Okay, got you. So basically minorities are all right and should be allowed to do what they like.
Yes.
So they ought to respect the majority's norms where
Yes.
they're doing it. So in an Islamic country, would you wear a head covering?
I wouldn't go
Okay.
on the basis that I wouldn't wear one.
Right, because it would be disrespectful not
Yeah.
to wear one while you're there.
Yes.
Fair enough. That sounds, you know, completely consistent and interesting actually. Not maybe what I would have expected you to say. Sorry for the sort of interrogation. I just because I mean it's not often that you get to meet someone who is so, you know, clear, and I think that's one of the reasons you're very popular among the areas where you are, is that you're very clear, very to the point, and you make a lot of sense. So that is interesting to me. Another topic I want to discuss with you is homosexuality. Because if you are a bit of a Mary Whitehouse or a bit of a prude, and trans issues have been lumped with homosexuality, though I think that's completely wrong myself. I'm curious what your views on those things are. Are they equally as traditional?
No. 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 I don't care what anybody does in there. Like, I think essentially homophobia just comes down to what two people do intimately with each other. And why is that in it? It's none of my business.
Well, I mean things like gay marriage.
No, I think you should be able to get married. I don't
And it should be called marriage.
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
It doesn't impact me at all.
Should gay people be able to have children?
Yes, adopt. Or that, there's some people. I don't agree with donor conception for lesbian couples.